Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Okay. Yeah, I'm. Oh my God.
Who are those people?
Jackie, it's a party. You know me. I love to party. I love to have friends over, and I love when they drink in my room behind me. So,
hi, Laurie.
Hi.
Hi. I just came from a show where I saw Chris Garcia and Guy Branum do stand-up for the first time on Zoom.
Oh my God.
And,
they were both, this is their first time, both of them?
I believe so, yes.
And
it was, they were both really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they enjoy?
I think so. It's always that thing where, the first time anybody does stand-up on the Zoom platform, they're like, this isn't real. And you're like, and yet when it's over, you feel like you did stand up and you feel better about yourself. How about that?
And you're working on material, and there's an audience there. I will tell you, I've done mostly Zoom shows. So my favorite type of show is the way Carmen did hers, Morales, where you shoot it on Zoom. The audience is in Zoom, and that's that. So you can hear people. You don't need the comics. I've done other shows where we shoot it in Zoom, and the only audience are the other comics on the show, which is
hard.
And then they shoot it out to various platforms, so it streams live, like Twitch and Facebook, etc., and YouTube. But and I did one on Shindig, which there were some buffering problems. I haven't had that on Zoom really. So my favorite is how we originally were starting to do it. I would love it if the audience just turned all the lights out in their houses so we couldn't see them, but we knew they were there. As opposed to like just putting up a picture of themselves, like, let me see the outline of you laughing, that's fine. The shadow. Like a fucking nightclub. Like it's Dangerfields, okay? Everyone turn the lights out in their house and
someone's
watch
being raped in the background.
Wrong club,
Dangerfields
Jackie.
was the creepiest club I'd ever been in.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I was there in 1989.
Okay. Well, I mean, everyone was getting raped in clubs in 89. You can't single out Dangerfields.
Right. It wasn't just Dangerfield.
I love that room. I love it. It's like, it's a room you love, because it's not perfect.
It was wide and not too deep, right? But just the right amount of depth, right?
But pitch black. And then they had these little, I think they still have them. I haven't been there in a couple of years, but like these little red candles. I mean, it looked like an old time 1950s style venue that had comedy and other stuff, right? You could easily see Vic Damone singing, to a mobster at that club as well. But it was fun, and the sets were half hours. The rest of the spots in the city were like 15 minutes, and Dangerfield's was always a half hour, and
that's amazing.
Cloaked in tradition.
Right.
And that they book the same 4 comics all the time. But, if you were one of them, hey, okay.
Yeah. I did so much Zoom yesterday that it's a different kind of exhaustion, right?
Yes.
It's a different kind of tired. Stand-up comedy itself, like live stand-up, is a different kind of tired than doing podcasts.
Right.
And I remember learning that many years ago. It's just a different, you know what it is? It's in podcasting, it's the listening that's exhausting.
Yeah. Right.
And with Zoom, it doesn't matter that I'm mic'd and I know what the problem was. There's 2 problems. One, I feel like I'm shouting into the internet and I can't seem to sort of stop myself from shouting into the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of gets my voice all scratchy, which makes me think I've got the Rona.
Right.
And then The other thing is I had the height was wrong for my laptop. So I was crouching for 2 hours.
Oh,
right. When I got out, when the show ended last night, and then we went to somebody's Zoom birthday party.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was a lot with breakout rooms. Jesus
oh my
Christ.
God. What do you mean a breakout room?
Zoom has this thing where they create breakout rooms. And he had named them like the kitchen, the art gallery.
Oh,
it was very sweet. We went to the kitchen. These are nice people.
It's how a party can disperse, but you do it in Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This poor app. These people behind Zoom must be fucking freaked out right now.
Right. Well, right? What was the show I did with Telfer who wouldn't stop saying, it's owned by the Chinese. They're getting all of your info. And I'm like, everybody has all of my info. Everyone. Absolutely everyone. I don't know who you think doesn't have my info.
Well, the Chinese, but they do now.
They do now.
Yeah, I had a Zoom. I did a 45 minutes at Flappers for the Mother's Day show. Someone's trying to break into my room despite my do not disturb sign. I wonder who it is.
You gotta turn off the background if she comes in.
Oh,
anyway,
I think I locked it. I heard a thud like she was trying to come through.
Now I told her in an episode.
I don't want to. If the door is closed, if the house is on fire, fucking interrupt me. Otherwise, I don't want to hear from you. And still, it's constant.
It's just an hour.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I did 45 at Flappers. Yeah. And
45 on Zoom.
Yes. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
You're going through a lot of material, and there's, in a club, laughter, it's something you can float on for a little while, and play with. And here, that's just all taken from you. You pause and hope the digital laughs come in at the time you pause. And if they don't, you either they're coming in 2 more seconds, or you go on to the next joke and then they crash the first part of the next joke. Right.
Yeah.
So, but within all that, there were people there and they seemed to have had a good time. And that's, what we're trying to do as comics is get some, entertain people.
Guy Branum literally was looking at the gallery at that show that I just did with him for the punchline. And he said, unmute. And then he named the square, because I'm going to do some crowd work right there. And it was outstanding.
That's cool.
Have you ever, you've played it's your club. So there's an older gay couple who are very dapper.
Okay. I think Leon, they have come to my. Yes.
And they were at the show a half an hour ago.
Awesome.
And I was like, I know those guys. They're super sweet. They're really, and they always bought merch. God love them. And Guy Branum was like, look at these 2 older gentlemen. These 2 older gentlemen is what having no children and being in a same-sex relationship is. You have enough money to have this apartment. Look at that.
Oh my God.
And it was a gorgeous space that they were in.
We got to keep those guys safe. However, they got in early in San Francisco real estate.
They said they've been together almost 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And Guy was like, so you've been through 2 pandemics together. And you're like, Jesus, that's
tough.
Tough. That's a good one though.
It's a great one.
That's a classic Guy Branum.
So I did that one, and so it was fine. It was fine. It's just I hadn't done that much time on Zoom before. And
I'm thinking about doing a real long one this week, just because I have all the different chunks, and I keep using sort of a couple of lines throughout in each of the 20s that I'm doing. I have to just sort of commit to where that joke goes. And to do that, I have to do 50 minutes.
Right.
And I'm like, who? I mean, I'm not saying that you can't put yourself on mute and do dishes, or sit there and knit while you listen to me work on this 50. I'm just saying, I hope there's people who would want to hear me do that 50.
It's hard to just sit and look at a computer for that long. Even if you're a huge comedy fan and a fan of the person, it's tough.
But I gotta work on I gotta put the set together, right?
Yeah.
But get this. So I did the Hofstetter Ben Glebe Damn, I'm spacing his name.
It's called Normal something? Normal Things or Normal Place or Nowhere?
Yeah, the Nowhere Club.
Okay.
I did one of their sort of a short set, right, today. Mm-hmm. And then the rest, and it was an hour and a half. It was 90 minutes. And there were 2 comics doing 5-minute spots. And the rest of it was morning radio.
What?
Yeah, they were essentially just riffing.
Oh.
And it was actually, I mean, it's people who know how to riff. I mean, so it was, and parts of it were fun. I got to pull like masks and I mean, it was dumb, but it was actually really funny at certain points. And somebody in the chat room tagged my my cock ring joke, and I was like, I'm taking that. I'm using that.
Nice.
That's mine now. Yeah.
You know what? It doesn't matter where it comes from as long as it gets to you.
Right. And
that's what I say.
And it isn't another comics joke that they're also working. So
it does kind of matter where it comes from. Then. Yes.
Yeah, then it matters. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that the younger comics that are out there, hey man, it matters a little bit. Yeah.
I got it on the internet.
Nope. And I said, I'm taking that. I'm using that.
That's great.
And yeah. So I was pretty psyched about that.
That's cool. I started with Flappers. I had a little break, and then I did a Mother's Day show for QED, where we did our thing in Astoria. We did a Jackie and Laurie live there. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Cambry was having a fundraiser for the club, because they're also delivering groceries and shit that no comedy club really wants to do.
Right. I reposted that. They're like, hey, we're going to be there at 9 a.m. We will deliver if you spend more than $35 or $50.
I know.
Otherwise, come by, pick up some groceries because we got groceries.
Unbelievable.
And then also these books. And then she was listing books. So,
yeah.
Yeah. I did get a comic out in the middle, further east of us, who emailed me and asked me to do a benefit. And I said, of course, it sounds like a lovely. And then she said, well, can we use your Zoom account? And do you have a ticketing agent that you use?
Oh, my God.
And I was like, no, I'm already helping Acme Comedy Company Home Club. I'm already exhausted. And I said, you can't ask that of me. And she wrote me right back and she goes, I hear you. I'm so sorry. And I was like, good to hear.
You can't ask that of me.
You can't ask that.
There's a limit.
Because I might say yes, and then I'm overwhelmed.
Yes, and then you hate the person.
Right. I don't want to end up hating anybody.
Hate is very stressful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was cool. And then I kind of wanted to stick around because I liked the comics that were on Cambry's show, but I'm like, I can't keep looking at Zoom. And I'm going to I have to do a podcast with you. I just said, I can't be here in this space anymore. I gotta go. Adios.
Right. Well, I left the meeting, which was the Punchline show, walked out into the living room, and I was like, oh, that's so great. And I'm like, and I walk into the kitchen and I look at the clock and I'm like, oh shit, I was supposed to be there at 9:30, and which is when we're doing this night because it's Sunday night.
By there you mean where you already were,
right? But 2 rooms away,
in a breakout room.
I made soup this week and yogurt. The yogurt turned out better than it has.
Wow,
the yogurt is coming right along. It could be a little thicker, but I'm psyched.
That's cool.
And then I made a barley lentil soup.
I
know. That was very polite of you to go, oh.
That sounds awful.
I know. Do you want to do a break? It seems
already?
Does it feel early?
Hey, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks.
These are real podcast listeners, not actors. We took the identifying marks off this podcast. Just tell me your impressions.
It's really sexy.
My first thought is like Radiolab?
Definitely something popular.
Yeah, really popular. A hit show.
But funny, too. Like, does Tina Fey have a podcast?
Or the Marx Brothers?
Yeah, is this podcast Radiolab, but hosted by the Marx Brothers?
And sexy, like Sade. It reminds me of Sade.
Exactly. And they're all riding in a BMW.
Close. but not quite. Take a look behind these panels.
Whoa.
And then watch this rocket blast off into space.
Whoa.
Ooh.
And there's the pies we made you.
Oh.
Now, let's show you the podcast.
Wow, it was Jordan Jesse Go.
Jordan Jesse Go?
Hold on.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
That was 514 J.D. Power and Associates Podcasting Awards.
That was really scary.
But compelling.
I guess I should definitely subscribe to Jordan Jesse Go.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Jordan Jesse Go, a real podcast.
And we're back, you guys.
Oh, did we do a break?
Yeah, we just did.
Okay. Okay.
I hope it's not us talking about us. Did you hear about that?
Oh yeah, that there was an ad for our show and our show.
Yes.
Good.
We're
Well,
the
that
most-
reminds people to listen to us while they're listening to us. That's good. I swam this week. I started swimming again.
Where?
My pool.
Oh, there you go.
Mhm.
Good for you.
Okay.
Is that
So
why
listen-
you were looking for a lane, Mark?
Oh, well, that's out of my price range. So I have the house I have. It has a very old pool in it, probably built during the Vietnam War. I mean, the LBJ part, not even the Nixon part, right? But it works. You know, it's
It's a body of water.
yeah,
But
it's body of water.
You were looking for like a rope. weren't you?
Well, listen, Jackie, I'll get to it.
Okay.
We're at 15 minutes. There's no need to leapfrog the story ahead. Okay.
No, true that.
So I didn't want to swim in it because I never swim in fun pools, party pools. I've always been like, to me, that's like for a comedian to go to a comedy club on their night off. Like that's what I think of. I never enjoyed party pools or going swimming in someone's pool because I'm like, swimming is for swimming. It's not for splashing, right? That's what kids do. Okay. So even this pool in my house, I was like, I wasn't going to swim in it, but I was like, maybe my son will throw parties and finally we'll have a social person in the house, right? Cut to, he's exactly like me. Okay. So he's a total hermit. No one uses the pool. So it's complete waste. There's like families that swim all in pools all the time, right? So it's complete waste. And I just looked at it as a sinkhole, that's stealing money from me because things need to be repaired.
Okay.
So, but now we're in a coronavirus, right?
Yeah.
We're make do with what we have. So,
That's it.
I was like, all right. So I looked up some drills. Like, here's the thing. I don't like triathletes. I think they're assholes, but for the most part, because they're like, it's always some dude who trains 6 hours a day while his wife takes care of his kids. That's basically a triathlete to me. But they have figured out how to do a lot of home workouts, and so there's a guy's put up a bunch of drills that he came up with that work in a pool, and so I just started doing drills. It's not like swimming,
Right.
like for me, when I push off and I take 2 strokes, I'm at the other end of the pool. It's total fucking waste. But there's other things I can do when I get out of the water. I felt like I swam.
That's
I'm sore.
awesome.
I have the good soreness that I like. It's instead of doing a whole stroke, I'm doing little components of strokes, so I'm still doing, it's something that ideally you would put the whole puzzle together in a 50-meter pool at some point and really swim. But for now, I can do these little components. And more importantly, like I realized I forgot that swimming, when you get out of the water, you feel so good. It feels like the water went through your whole body, went through all your veins and washed you. That's how I always feel. And so even getting out of this crummy dump of a pool, I was like, I feel so good.
That's
So
awesome.
That made me happy.
We're all doing like a third or like 44% of the thing that we love to do.
A version of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or 64% or whatever. And so I'm psyched that you figured this out because it's, you need it.
Yes. And then I bought these stretch cords. Like I looked into getting like something called an endless pool, which is thing you put in the pool that creates waves, and so you swim into it. So you kind of swim in place. It's like it creates a water treadmill, basically.
Oh, okay.
But it's like $10,000, right?
Oh shit.
So there's something else that's called stretch cords, where it puts something around your waist, and it's
Kill
a bungee
Martin
cord.
GoFundMe. Kill Martin GoFundMe.
No thanks.
Okay.
And it's basically you tie yourself with a bungee cord to something stable, and that pulls you, and you can swim against that. So it's like a very cheap sort of a treadmill. So those are coming, and then the only thing is the water is so wavy because in a regular lap pool, there's a gutter. So if there's waves, it goes right into the gutter, and then the pool is always placid, basically.
I'm nodding like I know what you're talking about.
I know.
Okay.
Welcome to my world every time you talk about comic books.
Exactly. So I'm there for you.
Okay.
I'm nodding. Let's hear it.
So my pool, of course, doesn't have gutters. It's just like a cutout into the earth. And so the waves go right back into me when I'm swimming. So that's why I was looking. I thought maybe I could just get by a really long lane line, like a 50-meter lane line, and chop it up into 2 lane ropes and just put that in the pool so I could have a smoother surface. But they're like $500 each. And I'm like, it's an experiment. It's not worth I don't know if it would work, and it's too much money for something. I was, and there aren't any used lane ropes. I can't find them any place, like really good ones. So
yeah, I saw that you were looking for a used one, and I was like, is that a thing?
I know. It should have. That would mean a pool had closed. So I hope there's never a used lane. When
I was a little kid, I got a used one of those the string. It has a name, and I've spaced it. When you have a bow and arrow. So when on your bow, the string that you attach to the bow has a name, and is that a quill? No, the actual string that you notch the arrow in.
A quarantine? No.
Yeah, it's called a quarantine. And I found a used one, and it was kind of frayed, but it was awesome. It's a great story. There you go. There's one.
Well, so there you go. So I have I'm a little happier. I got a little bit of comedy back, right, with Zoom. I got swimming back a little bit. It's, I mean, and of all the situations in the world, I'm still I can't complain.
You're still sitting in a gravy boat.
I can complain, but I would like you to know that I know how lucky I am.
You're aware.
Yes. And within that, because I'm a person that complains, I can always find something to complain about. That's what a fucking comic is. We complain about shit in joke form. Okay.
You are also human, and the humanity means that it doesn't matter. You could be sitting on a pile of diamonds and go, "It's cutting into me." Anyway, so but what we bought a shit ton of stuff this week. Holy smokes! We got a ring, you guys. We got the big light ring.
Oh, is that why
everybody's been talking about?
Your lighting
the light
is
ring.
awesome.
Oh yeah, it's amazing because Andy had to run that game that I talked about for a long time. That particular story that was over eventually.
Yeah,
remember that one?
Yes.
He ran his RPG for Twitch. Stream of Blood, Jared Logan comic, great comic.
Yeah.
He has a Twitch channel where he runs RPG stuff, and Andy ran his, and who's producing it is Brian Baldinger.
Oh, okay.
And Baldinger wants you to do things correctly. And
so
Andy's
those people.
Yeah, exactly. So it looked amazing. And this looks amazing. I got I even got a webcam, which they were sold out 2 weeks ago, but I got one this week. And then we got this light ring thing that I just accidentally stared right into. Hi.
So, because I'm looking at an iMac, like a desktop, so I would put it on the top of my iMac.
This thing is far too big to stick in your room.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
This thing, allow me.
Okay. Oh shit! That looks like the sun. That looks like like a star. That's a central star in a solar system.
Yeah, it's too big. It's it's too big to have. Like, if you want to also have a bed, you're screwed. So, and then the hilarious thing is, I guess the lighting wasn't diffuse enough. So Andy took an old lamp, and then that thing is, and then took the lampshade off, and then put bent a hanger and put a Swiffer in front of it so that it would diffuse the light.
Wow.
Yeah, he has MacGyvered this.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, you look way more relaxed than you did before in previous podcasts, I might say, and shows.
Well, yeah, last night first of all, I did that thing that I do at clubs, forgetting that I also spend an hour getting back after, because what that is I drank a pot and a half of coffee. And most of that pot was cold brew because my brother Phil sent me a cold brew maker.
When you said drank and pot so close together, I was like, oh my God.
She fell off the wagon.
She fell off hard.
Oh my God.
Okay.
What a disaster. Talk about all of the money going away. The crazy, so yeah, no, I drank a pot of coffee but now I drink a pot of coffee and I do and last night I did 3 shows.
Yeah.
But then I go to bed and my brain would not turn off.
Oh, sure.
And my body, because I was standing incorrectly for hours, was in so much pain. So I took a bath, but then my brain still wouldn't. And I was like, is there anything you could do? And Andy was like, I could read to you and then you would fall asleep because it's me just reading. And I'm like, yeah, do that. So I slept really good last night, but I was a mess, a twitchy mess. And then I'm all scratchy voiced again, but I got to remember it's because I yell into the internet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have fewer shows this week. I was glad to get this Mother's Day thing over with because it hit in the afternoon on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
When I just like to spread out legs and arms akimbo on my bed and listen to my fake pond.
Right. Gurgle away. Aren't you doing the Punchline next Sunday?
I am doing the Punchline next Sunday, yes. And I'm also doing a podcast next Sunday as well. Not even ours. Oh, man. I've triple booked myself.
Right. Maybe we could do ours on Saturday.
Yes. Good idea.
Yeah. Just because this is hard, actually.
It is
hard.
To
do too many of them in a row. I'm doing Acme again. I did 2 shows last night. We're selling them out.
That's
I got
amazing.
my first check.
Hey.
From the one that I did with Tommy Ryman and Andy Erickson. They take, how like a comedy club, they pay I don't know. Why would I know? Mm-hmm. They pay the comics out of the food and beverage money. They don't pay it out of the ticket money.
Yeah, you said that last week. I didn't realize that either.
Yeah.
But
so,
whenever the money comes in, that's what they
right,
have
so
available.
There's going to be a 2-week lag on these on these gigs. So the first week was Tommy Ryman and Andy Erickson. The second week was Pete Lee and Greg Coleman. And then last night was Mary Mack, who has a new show on Hulu.
Really?
Yeah. She has a cartoon that she's in called Solar Opposites.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. And it's a cartoon done by the Rick and Morty guys. So they wrote it so that Mary Mack would swear a lot, which is hilarious because she does not swear.
That's great.
And then it was her and Tim Harmston and me last night. And then the upcoming is going to be Erica Rhodes and John DeBoer.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
John DeBoer? DeBoer was not John Doerr, right? John DeBoer?
No. John DeBoer's a Minneapolis headline guy.
Yeah. Did he have COVID or I thought no. Okay. I'm thinking of somebody else then. Okay.
Speaking of MacGyver, he called me today to talk about how, he was like, what, how are you? You got a mic and you always sound so good on the Zoom shows. And I was like, well, I bought this Focusrite thing. And I bought, essentially I now have a home. I have a studio. I did one show this week out in the garage room. I did my show where Winter Spears got to do 10 minutes in front of me.
Cool.
And, yeah. And again, I think it was like 50 people.
Mm-hmm.
Middle of the afternoon. I gave everyone 2 hours notice.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
I did 40 minutes working on the album.
Cool.
And Winter did the open spot. And It was great. But I did it out there and it was 95 degrees. And I don't have I have a fan, but I can't have a fan go.
No.
Well, I tried to do. So it was warm. But I will say that room is all been painted white because it's all brand new drywall.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got to use the background like you have. And that was
cool.
Fun.
Yeah.
It's Studio Ghibli. You should tell the man boy.
Yeah.
That Studio Ghibli has backgrounds for Zoom.
Okay.
For Miyazaki movies.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he'll understand those words. I've been watching Black Clover a lot. Like we watch 3 or 4 episodes a day.
Nice.
Now. And I love it.
I watched the first 3 episodes of that Japanese TV show that you told me to watch.
Oh, Jirihaji?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Well, there's 5 more episodes, so
right. Get on it so that we can.
What's happening?
Right. Well, it's I'm not very good at binging.
So. Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Yeah, I have to watch Dead to Me, and that just came out season 2. That's Liz Feldman's show.
Wow.
Yeah. And she won
cool.
she won Emmys. She won all the Emmys last year for the first season, and then what else? I'm finishing up Better Things. Have you been watching Better Things? Pamela Adlon's show.
Oh yeah.
Fuck, it's good.
You're not watching Mrs.
Really
America,
good.
Are you?
I'm doing that too, but it's coming out once a week, so I'm not. It's not bingey.
My friend Ebony is working on that, and I was like, I'm so sorry I lived through that. I can't possibly watch. I'm sure it's amazing. The acting, I'm sure, is amazing.
Well, we were little. We didn't completely live through it. We were little girls, and it's like those people were institutions when we were coming up, right? And they were cast as like feminists, and I kind of like was raised to distrust that whole scene, the ERA.
I was raised to hate Phyllis Schlafly.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was raised, and there was a lot of discussion about Shirley Chisholm. Was that?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yes. And there was a lot of discussion about all of these people. And I vaguely remember all of it and going, all right. And just soaking in that, some people were right and some people were wrong. And some people thought women were people and other people thought women were chattel. And both of those kinds of people were women. And it was very disappointing. So.
Yeah. I mean, Cate Blanchett is, Phyllis Schlafly does not deserve to have Cate Blanchett. Play her, but she's really good.
Have you seen Liz Winstead's doing the Schlafter show, or
no?
She's doing a Talking Dead thing.
Yeah,
but it's called the Schlaf. It's the Schlafter.
Okay.
I don't. It's the.
We see the problems Phyllis Schlafly had. It's that's a tough name to have.
Yeah, but Liz Winstead's doing sort of a breakdown of the show. You might enjoy that. Which is kind of fun. Hey, we should do the comic of the week. Did you have one?
Yes. What time is it?
30.
Oh, okay. Our comic of the week is Sarah Cooper. Have you been watching the video she's making, Jackie?
I saw that she's taking his.
Oh my God.
She's a New York comic, right?
Yeah. So she's taken audio of Trump. She's lip syncing to it. Perfectly. And adding sort of her own mannerisms and things like that.
And editing different versions.
Yes. And sometimes, like, she had the last one she did was him talking his insane rambling about testing and how testing must not be good because Katie had tested negative and then she tested positive. It's like, what?
Right. Like she tested. She should be fine.
Okay. So she would cut to herself as Katie kind of listening, just filled with dread. It was great. It's great. Yeah. So she's doing these. It's such a genius way to be able to listen to Donald Trump. If you're watching, like, I can't even listen to the guy. I'll read what he says, but I can't bear to hear his voice anymore. And she kind of made it bearable. Yeah, God just because if it's coming out of her face, which also helps. And there is always that reaction. The reaction makes it. Sarah Cooper, what's her handle? What's her Twitter handle?
Sarah is at Sarah CPR.
Sarah with an H?
Yeah.
CPR as in CPR?
As in she's breathing life into America with these videos.
Yay! Good for you, Sarah Cooper. I want to see you do stand-up.
So yeah, check her out. She's great.
That's awesome.
I had a show Friday, a little fundraiser show for Flappers people, and then I had to jump off early because then I had another show after that. But
are you doing 10s on those? 5 to 10?
Yeah, no more than 15 usually.
Yeah, I've been doing 5s, which I'm like, I kind of like a 5 now.
I like a 15.
No, well, you know? I mean, I still I like a 5 and I like a 20. Those are my two favorites.
Sure. Yeah, it's weird because if you're on the West Coast, the shows kind of are all around 6 o'clock at night. So they're all kind of hitting, as the sun is setting and stuff like that. But it's weird because then by 8:30, you're like, I'm wiped out. I had 3 shows. I'm tired.
Right.
But it's so early. It's so strange.
It's really strange. Thursday, I'm doing a Doug Culp show. You know that guy?
I don't know.
I think is from, I'm going to space it. Doug, you're a delight, and I think you're from Seattle.
And never ask if I know somebody on the podcast. Remember?
Doing that.
You keep doing it.
I am the devil. Not today, Satan. Do you know that I found out that Not Today, Satan is actually from RuPaul?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a RuPaul catchphrase.
America's most famous fracker. He owns fracking companies. Yes, everyone was like, "What, RuPaul?" I don't know how it came out, but it came out that he owns a fracking company.
You see the squint? I don't approve. I don't approve.
I know. No one approves.
That is brutal. Hey, and then next Sunday, my Aunt Alice's birthday. Look, I'm looking at my calendar. She was born in 1927. Weird.
Wow. My dad was born in 1930.
That is a lot.
So she's 90.
A lot. She's 90 a lot. 93, I think. Yeah, that sounds right.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Which makes my dad 84. I talked to him today, and he was telling me about, he called me to ask me if Rip Torn was still alive. He doesn't have the internet. And I was like, no, he died. I looked him up, and I had just sent him Defending Your Life, because I'm sending him the most basic DVDs, and they're all $4.99 from Amazon with free shipping. And so I apologize to the Amazon workers who have to fulfill my father's DVD needs. And I'm like, and then, Dad, when you're done watching it, just leave it in the hallway of your old people apartment building, and someone else who doesn't have a Blu-ray will also get to pick that up with their grabber. And then they will get to watch it on their DVD player.
Does Blu-ray play regular DVDs?
Yes.
Because I have some DVDs I was going to, throw away. I could mail them to your father.
You could. Oh my God. If yet another pretty blonde woman talked to my father, he would lose his damn mind. He actually said to me 2 days ago, he's like, tell Maria that she should call me. And I was like, I'm not doing that.
Well, Jackie, I'm not blonde anymore. I don't know if you've noticed, but nature, it's coming back. It's like the dolphins are returning to Venice, and the roots are returning to me.
Are the dolphins returning to Venice?
I thought that in the Venice canals they had some dolphins.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Speaking of hair, Andy ordered a pair of clippers, and he said to me today, "Will you cut my hair?" And I said, "No, I won't. Not without watching many YouTube videos." And I was like, "Because will you cut mine?" And he's like, "With clippers?" And I said, "Sure." What do you think? If I shaved all of my head, do you think it would come in stone cold white? It might.
Don't
just because of the shock.
Jackie, just let it grow. Let it grow. Let it go. Let it go wild. It's only shoulder length now.
Oh no, it's
that's shoulders.
Oh yeah, those are my shoulders.
When it's
wet,
wet,
it's clavicle. We're almost
let it go to your areola. Yes.
Yeah,
and
that's
then,
what
and then
remember Janelle Monáe's great line, "Get off my areola." It's such a great line.
You've referenced it before. I think you're obsessed with her.
It's one of the great. I mean, I only have 4 or 5 musical references. I was I was listening. The Punchline had music before the show, and I wanted to ask who it was, but I didn't want to ask who it was, so I Shazammed a Zoom meeting.
Oh, really?
And it was someone named Betty something. That's a great story.
Okay.
But we are almost at 40 minutes, so we got to do what we got to do here.
We do. Were you at all involved in the Chrissy Teigen, Allison Roman tiff on Twitter? Did you?
No, but I did look up who those people were.
Right. So some good came out of it.
Right. I didn't really figure out who is Allison.
So she, again, I didn't know this either.
Right.
So she's a food columnist. She's one of the many people that are cooking on Instagram and, releasing recipes, etc.
Sure.
And so she did an article where she criticized Chrissy Teigen and Marie Kondo for selling out. Meanwhile, she's sort of trying to sell out herself. It seemed like just regular bitchy shit. Like,
yeah.
Here's what I missed. I didn't pick up on. And what Twitter kind of blew up about was she was picking on women of color. And I was like, oh, yeah. That didn't.
No, you just thought it was just sort of the women on women crime that we've been told exists in life, when it was actually racial. In the 11th hour, I mean, that's what it is, right? Because she is a white woman saying, right, and she's doing the same fucking thing.
Right. So yeah. And then plus sometimes when people turn into celebrities, then it's just celebrities on celebrity. And I don't, so it didn't feel like going after an underdog, but then as I started reading and going down into, to all the rabbit holes of threads and stuff, I was like, oh, this is fascinating. I am not a foodie, but apparently though the white woman sort of grasping other cultures and sort of making them palatable for white people, that's a thing, and the people from the other cultures are understandably fucking pissed about that.
Yeah, justifiably angry. And
yes.
Yeah, that was what I didn't know who either of those two people were. And then I went and looked at it, and then I saw that it was there was racial talk, and I was like, oh well, I could be taught. What happened? And so it looks like you had the same experience. And but it is interesting because the first thing it's like when people say I don't see race. You're like, well, you wouldn't. You're white.
Yeah.
So why would you see race, right?
Yeah,
and,
right.
But when it's happening, and it wasn't just happening to someone black, it wasn't just happening to someone Asian, it was happening to a spectrum. Congratulations. It was everybody not white. So she wasn't also like, who's white?
No. It was two Asian women. Because Chrissy Teigen
is Asian. Yeah, yes. It's great. How do we? I genuinely don't see race. It turns out I have that face thing where I can't see fucking anybody. I guess I'm the worst.
I think I think one of her parents is white and the other is from Thailand. Her mom might be from Thailand, and then Marie Kondo, of course, is from Japan.
Okay.
But it's somebody tweeted. I don't know who it was, but it was like on Twitter every day somebody's a character and your only goal is not to be it, right? So that day it was this lady Allison Roman, and I was like, it's weird to not and it's also strange when you stumble into like 3 million threads about somebody and you're like, who the fuck is this? How do so many people that I know who she is and no one's mentioned her to me, or I've never heard of her before? It's so strange.
Yeah.
But hey, it's quarantine, so we have the time to really jump in on these things where otherwise we might have just waited for that moment to pass on Twitter.
Right. there's been a small flurry of gentlemen who clearly lost their houses after the crash of 2006, young white men, or younger than me, that are mad at me for not knowing that.
You are
actually,
getting super
that's not
vague.
true. What?
Wait, it's one guy, right?
It is one guy.
Okay.
Remember this thing that happened?
Kind of. Put it in the chat.
I'm going to put it in the chat. And this.
Wait. Oh, shit. Will this get recorded? Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, the chat doesn't get recorded.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So it was just, and you know, and the thing is he's usually not an advocate of. That's not true. He's a huge conspiracy theorist because he's stoned all the time, and he's so high and drunk all the time that he's either on the right side of history or the wrong side of history.
Oh.
But he's committed in both cases, and I like him the most when he's on the right side of history, which I think is over 50%.
You can't ask for more than that from a male comic. Let's be honest. No offense, Kyle. No offense, Kyle. I did notice, Jackie, that I have performed with a lot of female comics lately. And I'm wondering if men are doing less Zoom shows because there's less incentive, because basically if you're doing Zoom, you're just working on your act and you're not going to get laid afterwards. You can't fuck a member of the audience. And maybe there's some guy comics going, but why would I even bother? I'll just wait till it comes back. Have you noticed you're working with a lot more women?
That is interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. Just a theory.
I know that there's a couple of comics who don't want to do some of the shows that I've been asking about, and they're male comics that could get laid. So it's interesting.
My original theory is of women come to comedy because they want to be heard, and men come to comedy because they want to be laid. Right? That's the underlying motivation for each gender, which of course it doesn't describe everybody correctly, but
right. And these are people, these three names that I have just typed,
yes,
are all people who don't want to do Zoom shows. And I don't know if that's what's inspiring them is because they can't get laid, or if they don't care about stand-up right now, or I don't think that they never cared about stand-up. But I know that, like you and I, we do stand-up, right? Kyle, you also. Hello. But it's the thing. It's the thing that I genuinely, I need to do it. And I've written three new jokes. Yeah. 2 new jokes and 1 new premise, which I don't know why I have to justify, but I'm psyched. I'm psyched that I'm still writing.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe no one articulates it to themselves like, oh, I can't have sex, so I'm not going to do shows. But it's part of the entire reason, and it also just might be connecting with a live audience. But it's part of, you know, what happens when that person goes to a comedy club and they can't imagine doing that on Zoom. And maybe that it's not so simple as, you know, it's not as direct as, you know, this means this, but it could be that some guys aren't totally into the craft of stand-up and they're into the lifestyle, and this isn't the lifestyle that they signed up for.
Yeah, and it would be sort of like if I didn't want to do it because I can get chicken wings at home. You know? I can just, I don't have to go anywhere else. I can have all the chicken wings I want right here at the house. I don't need,
but some of these guys don't have chicken wings at their house. They can only get chicken wings at the comedy club.
Right. And if they're not allowed to go to the comedy club, why go to the fake comedy club or the virtual comedy club where you don't get to actually eat wings?
That's right.
You might as well just go to Pornhub.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard several Pornhub jokes. And
well, I mean, this is the first you're hearing porn jokes. It's like
Oh no.
Everyone, you've got to have 10 minutes on porn, or you're not a working comic in 2020.
Right.
Well, it's so commonplace now, It used to be like just the guys kind of talked about it, and women never talked about porn on stage, I'm saying, unless they talk about their men watching porn, but they never talked about watching it themselves.
I don't know if this is true, but I remember the first time I think that it was made normal, that it was normalized, is Bill Hicks.
Right. I think
remember the Bill Hicks bit where he's just like, "Oh, I'm the only one."
Yeah.
And that became kind of a not hacky, but stock, because where you'd say anything. "Oh, I'm the only one drinking bleach to stop COVID," or whatever the fuck your joke is. And then, but he was the first one I heard use that line, and then he talked about porn and justify. I actually, the first time I talked about romance, not the first time, that was in 1984, but the first time my romance novel bit now, that is probably 6 years old now, but I used that, "Oh, I'm the only one talking about romance novels." And then after I recorded that, I was like, I think that's a Hicks. I mean, it's stock, but I didn't feel like I stole it, but
it's his version of "Did You Ever Notice?" or something like that. Like he opened a door for another way to observe things, right?
Right, another angle to come into it. So I don't. Yeah, when I see that bit or hear that bit, I'm always like, that it kind of, when it burns a little bit when you see an old bit and how you got into it, and you're like, that's not how I would do it now.
Yeah,
that's what I do now.
People need to know. We only stand by what you see at a live show. Okay. And everything else, just fucking come to a live show, please. Okay. That's it. The album, as soon as it's recorded, you come up with a better version of that joke, or you stop doing it, or you're like, "Oh, that joke's shitty. I didn't realize it at the time, but now I've read a few Twitter threads and I get it now," and whatever.
Hey, let's do a break.
Strange planets, curious technology, and a fantastic vision of the distant future. Featuring Martin Starr.
So we're going on day 14. Shuttle still hasn't come.
Aparna Nancherla.
The security system provides you with emotional security. You do the rest.
Echo Kellum.
Can you disconnect me or not?
Hurry Kondabolu.
I'm staying.
From Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Jeffrey McGivern.
Could you play Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Want to Have Fun?
It's The Outer Reach. Stories from Beyond.
Now available for free at MaximumFun.org or anywhere you listen.
Look, we did a break.
So,
yeah, I think, so I mean, literally I have show Thursday, then I'll have 2 shows on Saturday, and then I'm going to want to run my hour this week, but I think that's all I've got. Yeah.
So when you do your hour, I sent this link to our chat group, but so there's a theory that Sundance, the Sundance Film Festival, was an early super spreader of COVID. Just because of when it was and when people started getting sick. Yeah. But all those people were coming to Sundance, to Park City. It's in Park City, right? Utah? Yeah. So Wise Guys is reopening. Is it reopening Tuesday night, this next Tuesday?
All I know is that Brad Williams is supposedly performing at the club live.
Wow.
His week.
What would scare me is just, I don't know what Utah's COVID rates are, but if you had a super spreader event at Park City, I don't know. That would cause me concern.
Yeah, I'm concerned. I'm not going to wait until the CEO of Jersey Mike's or whatever says, "Hey, we're all just going around again." I'm going to wait till a scientist and a doctor tell me to do it. I don't know when that'll happen. I can't.
Yeah.
I would love this country to have a plan, but we don't. We don't have a plan because we don't have any leadership. But the state of California, at least, the new cases were down yesterday. Did you see that?
Oh, that's good.
300, which is amazing.
Yeah, our governor is good. Certain governors are good. Inslee in Washington is really, really great. But yeah, I mean, the fact that we're not all doing the same thing at the same time is, it's going to drag it out a bit. You know,
Yeah.
It's making it worse in the long run.
Yeah. But you know, it was 2 months ago when Knob Job said, well, 200,000 people could die. I didn't think he was naming a number that was real, quite honestly. Mm-hmm. But it looks like that's a real number.
Yeah.
That's horrible. So
you know what else is, it's like this whole Biden Tara Reid thing. I don't even know, like, he's probably going to be the nominee. I don't see the Democratic Party just, flipping and having a brokered convention and going for somebody else, right? She's sort of been, she's not the greatest witness. You know what I mean?
And the thing is can I just say this? I read a great comment today, which was, believe all women doesn't mean disregard other information. You know, it's not, women are people, you know, and some people exaggerate and some people lie and some people have an agenda and other things. It doesn't mean that Joe Biden isn't an elbow squeezer. I would be very surprised to find out that he was not.
Well, yeah, her story is kind of credible to me, but I also, there's like, if Christine Blasey Ford was like the perfect witness, right? She did not want to come forward. She was dragged out of it and she testified under oath. She kind of did all things right, where you're like, if you don't believe her, you've got a fucking problem with women, right?
Yeah.
And then Tara Reid is not but
she's not. But she shouldn't. I mean, she shouldn't have to be perfect.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. You can be a flawed person and someone did something to you. The only thing is like, he doesn't have a history of going that far with anyone else, right? There's not like other
It's instances. Not. It's people aren't coming out of the woodwork now.
Yeah,
you know, like 25
people. He's a groper for sure. He's like this club owner to me.
Oh,
you know
what's happening
right?
here? Little petty squeezy kind of fuck.
That guy, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah, he's that guy.
I would be shocked if that guy was actually also fingering people, you know what I mean? Like going that, which is quite violent, you know, finding a way to do that. So I don't know. The COVID is still taking over the news cycle in our heads. We're sort of able to ignore all this shit, but it's going to come up. You know, it's going to be, it's going as soon as he picks his vice president, then it's like, oh fuck,
all bets are off.
She's going to have to answer to it. And then it'll be part of the news cycle for quite a while, at least till the election, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So we just have to hope that COVID gets all the men over 77 in this country.
Well, how weird is it that the entire White House has this? They clearly, like 3 people that are close to all of these goofuses. And Pence said, no, I'm not going to self-quarantine. I'm going to go to work tomorrow. And you're like,
they don't want to look like they were wrong about it being serious.
About anything.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so stupid. And April Ryan tweeted that she had sources as saying people at the White House are freaked out because they think there's a lot more cases than they're admitting that are, peripheral. And
yeah. But 80% of the people don't die. You're like, no, it's actually more than that. Somebody said that to me today and I was like, no, it's actually 93% of the people don't die, you weirdo.
I think it's higher than that. But it's if you're hospitalized, it's fucking horrific.
Yeah, it's bad.
The Atlantic has some great pieces on COVID, and they did one about the ICU PTSD, where people, when they have to be intubated, it's pretty violent, and then they start hallucinating, right? And the certain drugs that they're on are exacerbating that, and that's a whole separate problem when you get out of the hospital, if you even have all of your functions back, maybe you have all your lung capacity, but now you're dealing with this sort of stuff that can last. PTSD can last for the rest of your life.
Right, and the lung damage and the blood vessel damage and all this stuff. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's so crazy how we were told, it's just worse than the flu. Like, I remember thinking, in March, well, whatever. I never get the flu. So if I get the flu, it'll be the first time. And, I kind of blew it off too, because it just was like, old people, it's bad for old people. I'll just get the flu.
I thought it was interesting because I remember those first 2 weeks of March when I was traveling still, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just became it was sort of like more and more got sort of layered, and then there was more distancing and more distancing.
Yeah.
And more people wiping shit down, and everybody stopped commenting on it and all these things. And it felt it had to talk about a herd mentality. We had to become, as a herd, frightened. So yeah. We're just it's historically bad leadership. It literally is.
Mm-hmm.
There's been bad leadership before, but this is a combination of evil and stupid that I can't even mention it. I don't even, you think of Hitler, but you really, who you think of? Mussolini. Remember that? that guy was an idiot.
I like how that guy ended up hanging.
Didn't they drag his body through the streets and beat him with clubs? Well, we can only hope. Really? Do you guys want to
let's end on that. That's what I say.
Okay.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned, audience supported.